y'all, Dixie here. Today I want to cover the common concern of what do thru hikers do about health insurance while they're out on trail. So yes, a lot of times thru hikers end up, quitting their job to go out on the 6-month journey and will not have health coverage through their employment anymore because they no longer have a job. During my AT and PCT thru hike experiences, I met folks from all different walks of life. Some were married, so they were covered under their spouse's insurance. Some people were prior military, so they had some form of coverage under the VA. And then also there were people who were 26 and younger, so they were still covered under their parents' insurance. So are those the only options, or are there more? Well, I decided to poll my fellow thru hikers to see what they had done during their thru hikes. And some of them suggested that they had used duct tape and wild turkey, trekking poles, band-aids and liquid skin, prayer, and some of them even used being ultralight as an excuse not to carry health insurance. Yes, I'm joking, but it is true that a lot of thru hikers, including myself, just go without having medical insurance. And I know that that is not the smartest idea, and I'm not intending this video to be, suggestions on what will work for you. I'm just letting you know what my fellow hikers did. So I'm trying to keep this as non-political as possible because I know healthcare can be a hot topic when it comes to politics. But I'm just going to state in this video what I have found from my research, as of now, and I'm not going to get into if it should or shouldn't be this way. It's just what it is. So now, as far as the Affordable Care Act mandate goes that requires everyone to have insurance or else they are fined, what I have read so far, I've read conflicting things, but some things say that it was repealed and that there is no longer a fine. Some people say that it wasn't repealed, but the fine was set at 0. Anyway, as of now, supposedly from what I have read and researched, there will be no fine, or the fine is 0, whatever, for not having insurance. But if it were to be in effect, in case, somebody's watching this later down the line and, it is in effect again, or somehow that's repealed, whatever, I just want to go ahead and include, where people might be concerned about a fine for not having health insurance. For people who don't want to risk not having insurance for 6 months, there are some options out there. First, you can sign up with healthcare.gov. Yes, there are certain open enrollment periods somewhere between November and December of each year, but if you have a life-changing experience, there are certain qualifications for that, but like getting married or, losing a job, having a baby, different things like that. One of those qualifying events might allow you to have like a special enrollment period in which you can go ahead and sign up for a plan offered at healthcare.gov. So quitting your job and having no income, or if you're moving during this experience, one of those things might qualify you. You'll just have to look and see if it does. Another hiker suggested that they use temporary insurance. So through my research, it looks like temporary insurance is only for up to 3 months. So with this temporary insurance, you might have insurance for 3 months and then the rest of your thru hike you won't. Now, for those of you worried about a penalty or fine for not having insurance the rest of that time, there are such things as short gaps according to the ACA mandate that allows you to not have insurance if it's, less than 3 months without being fined. And if you end up going over, and you do have a 3-month period, so it's over the short gap maximum, then your fine would be prorated. Again, as of now, you would not be fined for not having insurance during that time, but if it was in place, then you wouldn't have to worry about it, or it would be prorated. Another suggestion I received was travel insurance, and more specifically the World Nomads travel insurance. World Nomads will cover folks 100 miles from their home. So if you're in the US and say for me living in Alabama and I was going to hike the PCT or the CDT or even the AT, as long as I'm 100 miles away from home, then I would be covered by this policy. In addition to the 100 miles away from home requirement, you also have to have some kind of travel arrangements. So either a plane ticket out there, or renting a car or a train, yada yada. Now this is travel insurance with a medical benefit. So no, it is not specifically, health insurance, but it does cover up to $100,000 of injury. They do cover up to a certain amount for emergency evacuations, non-medical emergency evacuations, some emergency dental expenses. And I called and spoke with somebody and made sure, would like a snake bite be covered, or if you were mauled by an animal, or if you fell down and broke your leg, and basically anything that is accidental, unexpected while you are traveling would be covered. Now you do want to read all the fine print and everything, because apparently they do have different policies for up to a certain elevation while hiking, but you can find all of that on there. This is something for people who are out, you know, adventuring and doing sports and things like that. In fact, I think they have like 200 adventure sports listed. So say you're bit by a rattlesnake and you have to be emergency rescued. They take you out of there, you go to the hospital. With an emergency like that and a high expense, they're probably going to go ahead and front the money for you. But say you come down with the flu, then you might have to front the money yourself and then have them reimburse it for you after you file a claim. So, you know, yes, that could be a pain, but if you do have something that is high cost or a serious emergency situation, then they do go ahead and front you that. I know a lot of people are concerned about Lyme disease, so I asked about that, and basically anything that is covered by them, it has to be something that manifests while you are on your trip. So something that happens out there and actually, you know, causes you an issue. The doctor has to say, this person requires treatment now, and then you get the treatment. So, you know, I don't know, I guess it could be a little gray area with that. You'd have to be still away from home, realize you have Lyme disease, you know, be tested and everything because you're sick, and then seek treatment while you're away from home. So once you get home, I guess the contract is null and void. It all has to happen while you are away from home on your travels. Now, as far as pre-existing conditions are concerned, you'd have to check into that a little bit more. I think they, you know, do have some things that are included as far as that goes, but you know, normal prescriptions and any of that, again, this isn't health insurance, so it's not going to cover those normal routine things, but just anything that would happen unexpectedly while you're away. When I spoke with a lady from World Nomads, I asked her, you know, would this be covered under the ACA mandate? And she said, no, again, this is travel insurance with a medical benefit. It would not cover, you know, you for that. So if the fine was in place, you would be charged for your travel insurance, plus you would be fined a prorated amount for that time that you were without proper medical insurance. And for you folks coming from overseas, travel insurance seems to be a very common thing for people coming from other countries to hike. In fact, there was one lady from Australia that said she used iTrek. She ended up falling down, breaking her ankle, and they covered everything, including her accommodations while she was here being treated, and then even, you know, business class for her flight home so that she had room for her ankle. So if you're an Aussie, iTrek sounds like a pretty good idea. Another option that was suggested is health sharing programs. Now, these are basically groups of Christians who have come together to pool their money together and pay for one another's medical expenses. So you would have like a monthly fee. They do have certain requirements and, you know, limitations of what they cover, but if you're a Christian, it is something to look into. And finally, if you're gonna risk it for the 6 months and just say, you know, I'm not gonna worry about it and try that, you know, liquid skin or prayer or whatever, then one option that you could look into potentially is Care Credit. It is a credit card for medical situations, so credit is not necessarily the best option financially, but I'm just saying, you know, it is an option to look into if you know you're going to have a job afterwards. You'll be able to pay your payments and all of that, but it may prevent you from ending your hike early because of, you know, some medical expense, and now your budget's blown because you had to pay in cash. So just something to look into, you know, not saying it's the best option. Well, that's basically what I have for y'all today. I know that doesn't give you a whole lot of options. We're all in the same boat here, so if you have any other ideas that I didn't mention, or, you know, you have something to add on, please do so in the comments below. We can bounce around ideas. You know, we want everyone to get out there and be happy and healthy and safe, but basically, you know, this comes down to a personal decision of what will work best for you. Again, none of this is advice telling you, you know, what you should do or what I recommend or anything like that. Just sharing what I did and what others around me did. If you find this channel helpful and you'd like to support the work I do, all you have to do is go to dixieaz.com next time you do your shopping on Amazon. It'll just redirect you to Amazon, and at no additional cost to you, it'll help support the channel and the work I do here. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time.